Well, hello, everyone on Facebook. Thank you for joining me today and all of our listeners around the world. This is Ken Foster. Today's show is titled The Courage to Bring Forth the Depth of Your Greatness. And I want to say this show is all about learning how to use your energy in a way that takes you to a completely new level in your life. You will not want to miss this show. I have Dr. Sue Morter on this show. She's going to be talking about the energy codes. We're going to be talking about how to really take your life to a new level. So listen in. This is real stuff. It's going to work for you. Okay, let's go, Todd.
It's time to take a journey, to find your courage, break through your limits, and master your destiny. It's time for Ken D. Foster's Voices of Courage. Ken brings you some of the most courageous people on the planet that will inspire greatness within you and change your life for the better. It's time to see the unseeable, know the unknowable, and do the impossible. It's time for Voices of Courage. And here's your host, Ken D. Foster.
Well, welcome. I have a couple questions for you today. What is it that you want? I mean, what do you really want right now? More money, better health, to lose weight, better relationship, different job, more time, more energy, more sex, more happiness? Well, on today's show, I'm going to share with you the principles you can start using immediately to change your life for the better. Hi, this is Ken D. Foster, and the show today is titled The Courage to Bring Forth the Depth of Your Greatness. And before I get to these principles, I'm really excited. We had a momentous week last week for the show. This show has now changed. We brought in a new marketing partner, BBS, and we are now on a total of 82 podcast stations. We have expanded the show into 26 countries, including Canada, Germany, France, Brazil, Russia, Sweden, Spain, United Kingdom, and a whole bunch more. Combining with our current AM/FM stations, that puts us at 102 stations, which is an important milestone for us here on Voices of Courage. We set our goals to be at 100 stations by the end of the year, and we've broken that now. And I believe a lot of that has to do with the principles that I am going to be sharing with you today. So I want to welcome all of our new listeners, our new marketing partner, BBS. And for those of you that are new to the show, you can catch us live on Facebook on Thursday mornings right now at 10:30 in the morning, or you can tune in to our replays at voicesofcourage.us, or you can just ask Siri, Cortana, or Alexa to play Voices of Courage podcast. So we're excited. I hope you're excited for us. All righty. This show, it's all about taking you into a place where maybe you have thought about going, but you've never really lived there. So how did this all start for me? Well, I want to say that I woke up one morning and I was listening to a voice, and that voice said, you got to feel the pain to make the change. And I didn't know what that voice was. I'd been in therapy for a year, and I went to the psychologist the next day, and I said, hey, I've been hearing this voice. You got to feel the pain to make the change. And the psychologist looked at me and he said, Ken, I can't help you anymore. You need to follow that voice. So as I walked out of the office wondering, is he crazy or am I crazy? What is going on? I'm supposed to follow this voice? Well, that's the voice that led me to where I am today. It was the voice of reason, it was the voice of wisdom, and it was the voice of the soul. And shortly after that time, I learned to meditate, and honestly, I had a complete life shift from living from the outside in to the inside out. My life became meaningful and fulfilling. In fact, to this day, my life is filled with a sense of purpose and power and passion, and I've found happiness unending in my life. How cool is that? No matter what the difficulties that seem to come by, I seem to remain happy. Well, how can this even happen? Well, it happened because I realized that the highest achievement in life wasn't financial goal. but soulful gain and understanding the principles that generate success. See, mastering the mind, mastering the emotions, developing good habits, applying daily wisdom to challenges, these are all things that we start to have a better and better life. Hey, listen, I had a lot of mentors along my way, and all of them pretty much said the same thing, right? You've got to tune into yourself. You've got to realize that you're not your house, your car, your what you do, what you think. You're not any of that. You're something much greater than that. So, I found that the highest achievement in life is being able to govern all the choices that I make by intuitive wisdom. Why? Because we can change anything when we make the right choices. It's all in the mind. In fact, our perception is, for most of us, is kind of an illusion. I want to say that. Most of the time, your perception is not right on. In fact, if you think about it, if you think about what we've learned from quantum physics and quantum mechanics and energy medicine, is that there's nothing physical in the universe, right? At the atomic level, it's all, at that level, the protons, the neutrons, the electrons, there's 99.999999999 empty space between them, right? So there's nothing permanent here. It's all energy. So what is shaping our reality is really thought and intention. What's in your mind and what you speak out with your word, it outpictures in your life, right? If you look around the room right now, or wherever you are, driving a car, wherever, everything came from a thought. The car you drive, the couch in your living room, the microphone I'm speaking through, everything. So when we really understand, though, that thought can change our lives with powerful intention, it changes things for us. I want to fast forward 2017. So I've been studying these principles of energy medicine. I've been studying about mind-body connection. And I've been applying it for several years in many little small ways. 2017 hits. I'm up skiing last day of the year up in Mammoth. I have a ski accident. And I tear my ACL, my MCL, my medial meniscus, I tore my knee up really bad. And I went in and had an x-ray. And that x-ray said, you're going to have surgery. I said, what's the chances? They said, you got a 10% chance of not having surgery. And I thought, well, I'll take it. Then I went in to Scripps down here in San Diego. Top expert hospital, right? They do an MRI and they say, you're going to have surgery. And you've got about a 30% chance. I thought, well, I'll take that. And then I said, listen, doc, I'm going to go and I'm going to try to heal this in a different way. I'll keep coming back to see you, but I know some energy medicine people that are going to help me. And I went to a woman that does Reiki. I went to a woman that does something called Bowen work, which is developed by an orthopedic surgeon, but it's energy medicine. And I want to say, within 3 days, because of the techniques that I learned, 3 days, the swelling had gone down to about nothing. And within 2 weeks, I was out riding my bicycle again. Now, this is an injury that usually takes, especially if you have the surgery, anywhere from 6 months to a year to heal. But this healed up very quickly. All the pain was out of my body within, 6-8 weeks. There's still some soreness. I had to stretch. I had to work with it. But it was gone. Why is that? It happens because I had changed how I looked at things. Every day in the morning in meditation, I would visualize the energy coming into this knee and healing this knee. I didn't sit around and just think that this knee I needed to sit around and not do anything. I got back on it. I started working it, exercising it, using it, visualization every day, intention to heal this, and found the right energy workers to work. Does this stuff work? Of course it works. It works every single time. And that's what the show is about. I'm going to be bringing on a guest in just a moment when we come right back. And she's going to be talking about her new book, The Energy Codes, and how you can tune into your own inner energy to heal your body, your business, your life. We'll be right back.
We'll be back with more Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster.
Attention business owners. The feeling of being overwhelmed, stressed out, and facing difficult business challenges goes hand in hand with being an entrepreneur. But there are solutions, and it's time to explore the possibilities. You work hard as an entrepreneur. Give yourself the break you deserve. Ken D. Foster is the business coach for you. Ken has over 21 years of experience with leaders just like you, who trust to share what is truly going on in their business and that thing called life. You're invited to set up a free confidential consultation with Ken. His wisdom, guided methods, and unique strategies will bring you to new heights and break through obstacles. Visit KenDFoster.com to set up your free confidential consultation. It's time to achieve your dreams because you deserve a successful business and a balanced, happy life. Sound great? Find out how to make this happen. Visit KenDFoster.com. That's KenDFoster.com. KenDFoster.com.
There comes a time when you know you need to restart and regain control of your life. A time to seek freedom from the anxiety, addiction, and other issues that may be bringing you down. A time to heal and re-emerge as the real you. Villa Kalima is a holistic residential recovery program exclusively for women for individualized treatment. Villa Kalima offers proven clinical and holistic therapies for the mind, body, and spirit to assure sustainable recovery. Villa Kalima focuses on healing the cause, not temporarily masking symptoms. It's the only way to truly recover and find yourself again. Villa Kalima is located in a beautiful, peaceful, resort-like setting and is a licensed and accredited residential treatment center accepting a variety of health insurances. Start your healing and renewal today by calling Villa Kalima in La Costa, California at 760-814-8214. 760-814-8214. Villa Kalima, a place for transformation.
We're back with Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster. Learn more about Ken, how to be a guest on the show, and sponsorship opportunities by visiting voicesofcourage.us. And now your host, Ken D. Foster.
Well, welcome back. Today we're talking about the courage to bring forth the depth of your greatness. And before I get to my guest, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Women's Wisdom. Women's Wisdom is a networking organization that's been around since 1991 in the San Diego area. You can find them online or here in San Diego at womenswisdom.net, womenswisdom.net. Listen, they bring in the top authors, speakers, trainers, and individuals that know how to change your mind, your perception, so you can change your business and your life. Womenswisdom.net, the San Diego's premier networking and relationship building group for purpose-driven and soul-inspired female entrepreneurs. Also, I want to thank everybody for tuning into Voices of Courage. If you're new to the show, we're all about inspiring our audiences to engage with us and growing their businesses and transforming their lives. You can find us on the web at voicesofcourage.us or just ask Siri, Cortana, or Alexa to play Voices of Courage podcast. Well, today is about energy. Today's about learning how energy works, how it works in our bodies, how it works in our minds, how we can transform anything. And I have a special guest today. Her name is Dr. Sue Morter. Through her seminars, retreats, presentations, and soon-to-be released book, The Energy Codes, Dr. Sue illuminates the relationship of quantum science and energy medicine, as well as the elevation of human consciousness and life mastery. She has more than 30 years' experience as a doctor and facilitator of groups and individuals interested in natural healing. She is the founder of the Morter Institute and Biogenics, an organization committed to teaching individuals self-healing techniques to approach life based on quantum science. Dr. Sue Morter, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's a great delight to be here. I'm loving what you're saying so far, and we are definitely plugged into the same station, the same vibrational frequency.
We're on the same energy level, aren't we? That frequency.
Definitely on the same page.
Yeah, we're the same page.
Indeed.
Well, let me kind of jump into it a little bit. Well, actually, before I do, what got you on this path? I read your story last night, and I thought, wow, that's fascinating. How you you pretty much had an out-of-body experience when you started seeing energy. Is that right?
Definitely. I could see energy as a kid, and I talked about it, and I saw that it made the big people around me nervous, so I shut it down. And in the midst of that, I then proceeded to live life with a feeling of only being partially complete, which is basically what's happening with most people. And through the stresses of trying to make life work under those conditions, I began to become I was very shy. I was reclusive in many ways, and then I tried to overcome that by becoming a super performer. So I became perfectionistic, and I tried to outrun the feeling, really, of not being enough or not feeling whole and complete in some way. And so I became very successful, and it worked. And I was at the top 1% of my profession regarding financial income, as well as getting results with my patients, and most importantly, seeing people heal. And all the while, that was very successful. It was not fulfilling. And in the midst of that stress, I sought out meditation as a stress relief and found so much more than stress relief. I instantly started having multidimensional experiences, and to the degree that it completely changed my reality. I awakened to this quantum field that quantum mechanics and quantum science is speaking about, and that energy medicine is working with. And so the next 10 years, I turned my life into a living laboratory, trying to figure out what have I awakened to and why, and how can I serve humanity with that, or what difference can it make, or why did it occur in my life? And that's what I wrote about. And actually, the book has just released. It's no longer the soon-to-be released book. It is, as of this past week, it is released and flourishing. We've become a national bestseller in the first week of release, and it's been just a phenomenal thing to share this information with people. So I hope to dive into the depths of what it's about, and how we can heal ourselves, and how we can progress and perform in life in the way that feels fulfilling. All of
I want to do that with you, and I want to dive right into the book. And the book is called The Energy Codes, and you can get it on Amazon right now, Dr. Sue?
Sure. Yeah,
okay.
You can go to Barnes & Noble, you can go to Amazon, you can go to Books A Million, you can go to basically the online retailers, or you can walk into a Barnes & Noble store, or many of the other bookstores are now starting to perk up and purchase it and bring it into their inventory as well. So,
okay, good. Well, listen, that's awesome. And I want to ask you: do you think we have an identity crisis in America, or maybe around the world? Because I think there's a piece. I think there's a piece here that we need to start with.
Yeah, absolutely, Ken. We are identified as only a part of who we are, and that's where the crisis comes from. We are identified as the mind, in my opinion, and that's the main problem. The reason that we fluctuate, have good days and bad days, is that we are identified as the mind, and the mind is based in duality. And so for every positive experience, there's a negative experience that goes with it. And the soulful self, the true essential self, is based on so much more than this dualistic perception. So when we start to find our ability to use the mind for what it was built to be used for, everything begins to change. So my answer to your question is we definitely have an identity crisis.
We have it going. Okay, so that brings me to two questions. Who are we, and what are the energy codes?
Awesome. So who we are energy. We are pure awareness. We are energy that's awake. That's basically the easiest way for me to describe it. We are awareness itself. We are pure consciousness. That's it. And when we attach ourselves to something, we suffer. When we attach ourselves to the mind and we become identified as the mind, the thinker, the doer, that kind of thing, we suffer. When we attach ourselves to just the body, we are thinking that we have to, in an isolated fashion, go make life work, and it's physically stressful and hard. And what we have to do is unattach from both of those things and just sit down in the seat of the soul, the soulful self, the essential true presence that we are. And the energy codes basically are teaching people how to do exactly that, how to start to use the mind. You know, Einstein said that we were given this beautiful gift of the intuitive, and we were given this rational mind to act as its loyal servant. And we've created a culture that's honoring the servant instead of the gift. And I would go even, further today, not that I'm here to improve upon Einstein, but I just want to say that when we embody the fact that we are not just given a gift, we are the gift. We are the intuitive. We are that pure potentiality, this pure presence. Then we are supposed to train our minds to serve us in that fashion, and it's a whole paradigm shift that we're evolving into.
We're evolving into it, and as I read the energy codes, the first thing I asked myself was, how did Dr. Sue Morter create these energy codes? So I want to ask you, how'd you do that?
Yeah. So I had this awakening that I spoke about started in the year 2000 and progressed into 2001, and there were very rapid fire openings that were happening in my awareness and my consciousness, and mostly it started happening during meditative states, but then it started happening when I was sitting working on the computer. I would have these vibrational frequencies that would just overtake my whole self, and to the point I'd have to stop working and I'd just have to close my eyes and just sit there with it, and suddenly I would open up to these other dimensional states and realms and realities that were every bit as real as this one. In fact, they felt more real than this one. And as I mentioned earlier, I turned my life into a living laboratory to figure out how to recreate those states on command, kind of in this walking.
And these are high awakened states of consciousness where wisdom is flowing through, and understanding and energy, and you're seeing things from a different point of view. Is that correct?
Definitely a different perspective, and understanding the wholeness in things, and understanding the rightness in all things, instead of getting caught up in an argument and taking sides. It's this ability to see that there is goodness in all of it, and there is a process and a purpose for every single thing that's happening in our lives.
I've got to take a break. When I come back, though, I want to ask you how the energy codes and applying the principles of the energy codes, how they'll change people's lives. We'll be right back.
We'll be back with more Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster.
Are you feeling stuck or in a holding pattern with your business or life, and you're not doing the things you want or love? Then at some point, you're going to be faced with a decision. You'll either choose to keep living in your comfort zone and risk a life of mediocrity, or increase your courage, step into your power, and forge into the unknown, where everything new becomes possible. If you're truly ready to live masterfully, then you need Ken D. Foster's newest book, The Courage to Change Everything, Strategies and Wisdom to Transform Your Life One Day at a Time. This powerful but simple guide provides you with 365 days of life-transforming wisdom, profound questions, and action steps that will increase your strength and open the doors to success. Stop wondering why your business or life isn't working. The answers are available now. Imagine if you had more courage or another chance to start following your dreams. To pick up your copy of The Courage to Change Everything, visit thecouragetochangeeverything.com. That's thecouragetochangeeverything.com.
With Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster. Learn more about Ken, how to be a guest on the show, and sponsorship opportunities by visiting voicesofcourage.us. And now your host, Ken D. Foster.
Wow. Our first segment was amazing. Our second segment got even better. And the third segment's going to knock your socks off. Listen, before I get to it, though, as a business owner, your online presence is more important than ever. People will look you up online before they ever pick up the phone. That's why the right image of yourself and branding of your business is vital. And I've come across one of the best photographers and branding specialists in San Diego. Her name is Ann Landstrom, and her company is annphotography.com. I recommend you give her a call. She promises to give you images that'll bring out the best in you and your business. Again, that's annphotography.com. And you can reach her at 760-610-6263. That is 760-610-6263. And I want to also thank all of my listeners out there for tuning in. I appreciate you letting us serve you in the way that we do, and I encourage you to let your friends know about the show. This week, I'm giving away the Release, Renew, Evolve ebook to all my listeners who comment on the show on Facebook and Instagram and tag 2 friends. So I have my team back there watching you. So if you're out there tagging, we're going to send you that ebook. All right, back to the show. Called The Courage to Bring Forth the Depth of Your Greatness. I'm on the line. With me is Dr. Sue Morter. She's just written a new book called The Energy Codes. It's available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and everywhere else right now. Okay, energy. Is everything energy? You know, is our life a reflection of this energy? I'm thinking that it is. And so if that's true, then how do people's lives change when they learn these principles?
Oh, how beautiful. So when we start to wake up to the fact that we are this energy and that our life is reflecting back to us our ability to master this energy, then what starts to happen is we start to utilize life as feedback. Rather than taking it personally, we simply adjust and adapt according to how we're doing, manifesting that which we're choosing and desiring, and then we take our next step in accordance with the feedback that we're getting. Our systems are 10 to 100 to 10,000 times more sensory than motor. We're supposed to be sensing and perceiving the unified field. There are 11 billion bits of information that are bombarding us every millisecond. And we're supposed to be able to perceive that information and process it and integrate it by building the circuitry to perceive it and then act upon this universal guidance, this unified field of consciousness that we are made of. We not only have access to it, we're made of it. So as we begin to masterfully build better neurocircuitry to be able to interpret this information, we start to master our lives. Our bodies start to heal, our relationships start to change, our perception, our outlook of life, and our perception of self begins to change. Everything up-levels because we're starting to utilize the faculties that we are made of and that we are given, if you will, in the way that they were truly designed to be utilized.
So there's a lot of people listening right now, and they're going, "Well, how in the heck do I do that?" And this is, we're not talking about things like the book The Secret, where you just set intention and desire and everything just shows up instantly. Are we, or is there some pieces involved here that we have to step into, right?
Absolutely. So, The Secret was a beautiful opening for lots and lots of people in mass consciousness, and it has changed our culture by even introducing the ideas that what you think about comes about, and that idea of manifesting is truly tremendous. And there have been people that have been trying some of those principles for a while now, and find themselves not manifesting the things that they would like to, or things aren't happening quite like they thought they would, etc. And this work is designed to take us into the next dimension of all of this awakening that's happening through science, and the validation of spirituality that's happening through the quantum world. And with the energy codes, what we're learning to do is to track how to take action. What is it I'm supposed to act upon? How do I feel and sense what's right for me? How do I make better decisions? How do I become more precise and perceive a greater version of my magnificence than I was aware of before? So the energy codes are very much a how-to approach to mastering this quantum being that we are.
Can you give me an example of one of the energy codes and how to maybe apply it, how our listeners could apply that this week to start working with this?
Bet. Yeah, absolutely. So everyone has actually experienced quantum science in the in the works in their own body, in their own lives. They might not realize that that's what it is. So the energy becomes an impulse as it impacts us in our physical lives. It becomes an impulse in our own physical body. If you've ever had a hunch, you're actually acting upon the energetic essence of your being. We call it the intuitive. We call it this energy that's rising in us in some reason in some way from our heart of hearts or our deep gut feeling, our inner wisdom. That is actually energy that we're perceiving, as well as if somebody has a situation that they're encountering that gives them a knot in their stomach or a lump in their throat or tightness in their chest or an instant headache. There's a reason for that. And it has to do with energy instantly becoming blocked because of a lack of circuits that are allowing the energy to flow through the body the way that it's intended. So the next time someone has a knot in their stomach or a lump in their throat or tightness in their chest, given a situation, if they would squeeze inside the body, just on the inside, the tissues that are involved in that charge that they're feeling, and then start to breathe in the body while they're squeezing it, start to breathe up and down in the body through a central channel that I can easily describe, what starts to happen is we start to encourage that energy to move instead of being blocked in that situation. The reason it's blocked is because we have previously been knocked off of the saddle or blindsided or had the rug pulled out from under us in this type of a situation. So we've recorded in our subconscious memory that there's danger associated with this type of experience. And so we create a prejudice about it, and we limit ourselves in life because of it. And so one of the practices that the energy codes are going to do is teach somebody how to grab a hold of that energy and insist that it continue to flow through their body instead of getting blocked up because of something they experienced maybe 15 or 20 years ago that is still having a subconscious impact on them that they might not even realize.
So what I love about that is because it's there's a lot of people out there that say, you got to go to therapy for years and release this stuff and talk about it, and that's an old model, right? And there's nothing wrong with therapists. It's awesome. They do a great work, and a lot of people benefit from that. But what you're saying is you're taking it to a new level, and you're saying that we can bring in love or intention or joy into the body, and we can transcend things instantly. Is that what I'm hearing?
Instantly, by using the breath. The breath and the body and the mind collectively is a much more powerful team than just the mind alone. So we can love into a situation, we can observe the situation, and it will have an impact because just by placing our mind's attention on something, we change it. We change the photons, we change the electron spin, we change the molecular structure, all because of what we're putting our attention on. But if we also become physical with it, we bring that greatness of the unified field all the way to our own physical dimension. And if we start breathing, then we're starting to utilize the great integrator. We are spirit in the body, and spirit in the body is breath in the body. So when we're breathing consciously and activating a certain area of the body that's been left out of the equation along the way because we didn't trust our gut, or we didn't act upon our heart of hearts, or we didn't trust our own personal empowerment, and those aspects of the physical body that are reflected by that have not been enlivened and activated the way that they're supposed to be. And if they become enlivened and activated, which is what the Energy Codes teaches people how to do, then we start operating on a greater amount of our resources than we have ever acted upon before. And life changes because we're starting to wake up to our true magnificence in a way that we had no idea about it before because we were coming about it from an intellectual approach alone, and that alone will never get us what we're looking for.
I love that. I'm thinking of Eckhart Tolle, and he said something to the effect, I'll paraphrase what he said, but the letting go of the mind is the new frontier for humanity, and really that's what we're talking here. We're getting out of mind, getting out of all the thoughts going through, and we have to do this, and tuning back in to our intuitive wisdom that the body already has and knows, and the soul knows, to be able to heal anything in our body. Listen, I got to take a break here.
Sure.
When I come right back, though, I want to talk to you a little bit about making that quantum flip in perspective to change your life in an instant, maybe heal things that have been going on in your life for a long time. Okay, we'll be right back.
We'll be back with more Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster.
Attention business owners. The feeling of being overwhelmed, stressed out, and facing difficult business challenges goes hand in hand with being an entrepreneur. But there are solutions, and it's time to explore the possibilities. You work hard as an entrepreneur. Give yourself the break you deserve. Ken D. Foster is the business coach for you. Ken has over 21 years of experience with leaders just like you, who trust to share what is truly going on in their business and that thing called life. You're invited to set up a free confidential consultation with Ken. His wisdom, guided methods, and unique strategies will bring you to new heights and break through obstacles. Visit KenDFoster.com to set up your free confidential consultation. It's time to achieve your dreams because you deserve a successful business and a balanced, happy life. Sound great? Find out how to make this happen. Visit KenDFoster.com. That's KenDFoster.com. KenDFoster.com.
There comes a time when you know you need to restart and regain control of your life. A time to seek freedom from the anxiety, addiction, and other issues that may be bringing you down. A time to heal and re-emerge as the real you. Villa Kalima is a holistic residential recovery program exclusively for women for individualized treatment. Villa Kalima offers proven clinical and holistic therapies for the mind, body, and spirit to assure sustainable recovery. Villa Kalima focuses on healing the cause, not temporarily masking symptoms. It's the only way to truly recover and find yourself again. Villa Kalima is located in a beautiful, peaceful, resort-like setting and is a licensed and accredited residential treatment center accepting a variety of health insurances. Start your healing and renewal today by calling Villa Kalima in La Costa, California at 760-814-8214. 760-814-8214. Villa Kalima, a place for transformation.
We're back with Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster. Learn more about Ken, how to be a guest on the show, and sponsorship opportunities by visiting voicesofcourage.us. And now your host, Ken D. Foster.
Okay, we're back. Today the show is called The Courage to Bring Forth the Depth of Your Greatness. Online with me is Dr. Sue Morter. She has a new book out called The Energy Codes that you can find on Barnes & Noble and Amazon. Right now, it's an amazing book. I've read it. It's good. It will shift your points of view. And before I get to Sue, I just want to give a shout out to some of my team. Listen, I have an amazing sound engineer. His name is Todd. Todd, thank you so much for being here. And Rachel's back behind the scenes, inviting lots of people to Facebook. I want to give her a shout out. And also want to give our graphic designer, Ann Landstrom, a shout out. She's just done a great job for us, and also Judy Foster, my wife, who supports this show, and we got about 20 people behind there. So I just want to give a shout out to all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you for our new partner BBS, and also AMFM 247 Stuart over there. He does a great job for us too. Thank you for all of the work you guys do. I really appreciate it. Today we are talking and trying to make some shifts here in our own energies. And there is a quantum flip we can make in perceptive in how we perceive the world, and we can change almost instantly how we look at life and what we can heal. Let's talk about that. How does this happen? How do we do this?
Yeah, so you were referencing Eckhart Tolle saying we have to unattach from the mind, and what I'm doing is showing people what to connect to. To let go of the mind is a scary thing when that's all we've ever known. And what we don't know is what to do instead of that. And what the quantum flip is really showing us is that as we shift our come from our deep core essence rather than from our heads, living in our heads and thinking things through and analyzing and strategizing, when we stop doing that and we start feeling and breathing into our intuition and deep into what is truly mattering most to us, something can shift in an instant. And so it doesn't require creating new habits, and it doesn't require, new habits fall into place because your come from has changed. And it doesn't require the multiple days of repetition that are required to retrain the brain because our come from has shifted. And so this quantum flip is how we create this shift in our where we're coming from to meet life, to engage in life, to even awaken every day and begin life. It is a different version of who we are. So the quantum flip is a real term in quantum reality that says that a particle doesn't have to slow. If it's in motion, it doesn't have to slow down and reach this 0 point field and then slowly turn around and then pick up momentum going in a different direction. And that's how we've been living as a culture. We've been living in our minds and believing that it takes a long time to change old habits. And that's because we're remaining identified as the mind. The quantum flip says that a particle can be measured moving in two directions, literally at the same time, that whatever we're looking for is what we find. So this quantum flip is basically saying that you can change your come from in an instant, that all you have to do is begin to perceive things from this perspective that I am whole and complete, there is nothing missing, there is nothing broken, there is nothing wrong, and then I have to feel in my body my residence there. I have to take up residence in my body, because humanity has been living in our heads as our defense mechanism, as our best come from in fight or flight. We live in our heads and we strategize and try to figure out how to be safe.
I get it. And you know, so it's turning the vision of our world upside down. Instead of seeing the world as something that there's so much wrong in the world, it's collapsing around us, this is falling apart, it's a place where we start to view the world that it's unfolding perfectly, and they're divine beings all unfolding and learning and growing through this process, or being who they're being. Is that what I'm hearing?
1,000% of what is happening in our life is in support of us awakening to our magnificence. And when we start to jump in our heads and figure out, why don't things go the way I want them to? Who's against me? What's wrong? What's happening here? Everything becomes quite painful, because it becomes painful not only because we've engaged ourselves in a battle, in a competition of either-orness, but it's also painful because it's not the truth of who we are, and it's not how we're supposed to be operating. We're supposed to be assuming that every single thing that's happening is happening for my own awakening, to my greatness. And if I allow it to do that, then it stewards me into my greatness. If I resist that, then I engage in a battle and a fight against what's happening, and everything comes, to a stymie. And we're here to awaken to a greater version of how to proceed.
I couldn't agree more. And I know I walked into studio today, and there was a couple people I looked at, and they're just steeped in worry and concern, and they're just like, they're really in that low energy vibration. You can see it, right? You can walk in, you see people like that, especially if you're radiant energy, right? I just felt sorry. I felt, wow, this is so sad. You're living from that place. What if you live from a place that everything's okay? It's unfolding perfectly. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Life is good. I'm here to learn and grow. If it's not working, great, throw it out. Okay? Or change your attitude so you can feel good about it, right?
Yes. One of the things that I also talk about in the book is this idea that everything that is unfolding in our life is actually something that we requested before we came, and that we wanted people to show up to create friction or to create a rub, so that it would cause us to awaken, cause us to quicken into ourselves and to take a stand for who we truly are, and to rise up as that regardless of the circumstances, and that we make these agreements. And I call it the bus stop conversations, who you met at the bus stop before you caught the bus to come to planet Earth. And basically, I'm allowing people to recognize that the greatest challenges in my life have actually been co-created so that I could find my own wholeness, my own ability to see from this both-and perspective that I awaken to in these higher dimensions. We're here to wake up to a higher dimensional version of who we are, instead of being stuck in this war zone of either or, right and wrong, good and bad, for me or against me. And life is constantly handing us one opportunity after another to take that greater stance. And the book is, attempting to teach people how to do that.
Well, I sure love that. Okay, so the book is The Energy Codes, and you can get it on Barnes & Noble or Amazon. Where else? Do you have a website they can get it at too, Dr. Sue?
Sure, they can come to drsuemorter.com, DrSuemorter.com, and / order the energy codes. And you also get special gifts and such. If you come to my website to get it, you get extra meditations and copies of classes, videos of classes that I've taught to kind of just give you more of an example. Another thing that I want to share about it is that in the book, there are video links that you go to the computer and see video demonstrations for all of the techniques that I'm teaching people how to do, how to learn to breathe in the body and awaken different levels of consciousness, how to enliven the entire chakra system, how to work with animating the true self instead of just being identified as this linear thinking, judging mind that we are so attached to.
Well, listen, I want to thank you for being on the show. I appreciate your time with me. And I look forward to having you back here. You know, let's plan that in a couple of months. Come back and do this one more time. Love to have you. Thank you so much, Dr. Sue. Okay.
My pleasure.
All right, we'll be right back. And again, we're continuing talking about energy, frequency, how to raise yours. This is going to be amazing. We'll be right back.
We'll be back with more Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster. We're back with Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster. Learn more about Ken, how to be a guest on the show, and sponsorship opportunities by visiting voicesofcourage.us. And now your host, Ken D. Foster.
Gosh, I love this show. I love being here with you. I love my life. I hope you're loving your life too. And I hope that what we're putting out there in the airwaves can help you take your life to a completely new level. You know, if you're in San Diego and you're a woman entrepreneur in the San Diego area, I encourage you to pay attention. There's an organization out there. You've heard me talk about it on the show time and time again. It's called Women's Wisdom. They've been assisting women in business since 1991. It's called, again, Women's Wisdom, and they're in San Diego, and a premier networking and relationship building group for purpose-driven and soul-inspired women. Check them out, womenswisdom.net. And here's the cool thing about them. This is a group of conscious women entrepreneurs, and all the principles I'm talking about on this show, they show up that way. These are the top leaders in the community that show up in a place to really support other people. So I hope you'll check them out. Even if you're not in San Diego, check them out anyway, womenswisdom.net. And they've got some freebies on the site. You can listen to some of their videos and stuff. So check them out. All right, the show's called The Courage to Bring Forth the Depth of Your Greatness, right? How do I do it? Well, I want to say this. Frequency seems to be everything to me today. And I couldn't agree more with Dr. Sue Morter when she talked about we don't have to go through these years of letting go beliefs and reprogramming the subconscious mind and really trying to change our life and going to 100 workshops on how to do this. I think that's an old model. And I'll tell you why. I'll give you the reason behind it. It's because in the old model, the mind was everything. So the mind was over the emotions over the actions, actions over results, and results over your destiny. The new model is taking in the whole being into respect. So really, it's everything comes out of spirit. Spirit is over these souls. You're an individual soul, so am I. Soul has a frequency, a resonance, an energy about it. And when you tune into the soul, and the soul becomes over the mind, you're tuning into your intuitive wisdom. You're tuning into a place where you can really get the results that you've wanted. Now, I've tried over the years many, many ways to manifest clients, business, great relationships, better car, all these things, right? And here's what I found. I can push, and a lot of times me pushing to go get what I need is the wrong way to do it. Because sometimes when I push, I get things that I want, but then 2 days later I go, why did I do this? Why did I get it? There's another way to do it. And it's a place that I go to. It's called the 0 point stillness. And Dr. Sue talked about it, and I talked about it early on. But 0 point stillness is a place where you quiet your mind, you stop your thoughts, you tune into your soul. How do you know you even get there when you meditation? Well, for me, it's when I feel a sense of peace. And so I start out with doing some tense, relaxing exercise. I'll tense the body up, hold the breath for a moment, and double exhale out. I'll do that 5 or 6 times to release the tensions of the day. And then I start to just focus my eyes on the spiritual eye, and I allow myself to notice that there's a lot of thoughts going by all the time. If you're anything like me, you got a lot of thoughts. I think we're all that way, 60,000 thoughts a day. But I become the observer of those thoughts. I tune into the soul. The soul is the observer. So we start to go into that place. Now, when I want to manifest something, I go into a place of noble intention. So I use some thought around this. I intend to think about and bring in what's highest and best for myself, my family, my friends, and my community. That's a noble intention. Then I start to visualize this in the future. Imagine myself 10 pounds lighter, let's say. What does that feel like in the future? How do I feel? What do I know about that? Then I go into a place of wonder. See, all of these are energy or frequencies. They're behind a word is energy, right? Wonder. What's the energy behind wonder? When you tune into that, you're actually raising your energy, your vibration. So I immerse myself in the feeling of wonder. I wonder how it would feel to complete losing this 10 pounds, let's say. And then I go into a state of awe. What's awe? Awe is another frequency, but it's a very high frequency. When you're in awe, maybe you first time you saw the Grand Canyon, you saw something amazing, you go into awe. You start to feel that frequency of awe. And then I go into the Word, right? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. Om, is a word for it, or Om. It's a vibrational sound, okay? The Word is really a vibration. And we submerge ourselves into the vibration of Om. And we broadcast those noble intentions out there, okay? We broadcast them into the airwaves. So when you're in that state and you're feeling yourself calm and peaceful and you're broadcasting this place of what it's going to be for you, you're tuning into something higher. There's an omnipresence that is always there. And that omnipresence that flows through us as a state of wealth. And it flows into your noble intentions. And when you're in that place, it is a place of knowing. You have a sense of, this is done. It's over. I give thanks. I just say, thank you for hearing me, noble spirit. Thank you for allowing me to step into that energy, that vibration. And I consciously feel this vibration inside of me, and it changes. Everything changes. The way I feel changes. The way I see changes. I have a story for you. So I'm out on a hike the other day, and I start saying, I'm seeing through the eyes of God. I'm seeing through the eyes of God, right? I've never really said that before, but I thought I'll say that. And I have a friend, we're hiking, right? And I said, hey, say this with me. We're seeing through the eyes of God. I bet you it was 5 seconds that our perceptions changed and everything got brighter. And about 10 steps later, we look down and there's this little green snail crossing our path. Now, this green snail is fluorescent green. I'm like, this is really weird. A green fluorescent snail. And then we start walking a little further, and there's whole bunches of them. And then this woman walks by us and says, hey, have you guys ever seen these green fluorescent snails before? I said, no. Now, I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation for that. But I have to say, in that magical moment, when we shifted our consciousness, we said we wanted to see things differently through the eyes of the divine, everything shifted. It's a great way to start this week. Maybe you shift and you start talking about, you start holding that intention in your life, even just today. Practice it today. I'm seeing through the eyes of the divine. I'm seeing Todd through the eyes of the divine. I'm seeing my friends through the eyes of the divine. I'm seeing the world through the eyes of the divine. See if you can shift your perspective and change your point of view. And I can almost guarantee it works for everybody if you're sincere about it, you're intending, because you are the one in charge of this energy, of this life, of this vibration. And as you start to use your intuitive, gifted power that we all have and start getting out of the mind and not more into the mind. Now, I'm telling you to use the mind to say, I am seeing from the eyes of God. But what I'm also saying to you is feel the words behind that. What is the energy behind seeing that? And be into that in that energy, right? So, to summarize, okay, there's an 8-step process that I use to raise frequency. Step 1, stillness. Go to 0 point stillness, meditate. Step 2, set a noble intention. Step 3, get into your future vision it. Step 4, go into wonder. Step 5, go into awe. Step 6, go into the word. I am the word. You speak the word. Step 7, you go into knowing this is happening for you. And step 8, you be it. You become that which you have so longed for in your life. If you practice this on a consistent basis, I can tell you this, your life is going to get better. You're going to realize that it's fine to use the mind if you're trying to solve a calculus problem or you got to do your taxes. But listen, the mind isn't the be-all, end-all. There's a whole part of us that when we start living from the intuitive self, or I call it the wise self, that's the place where we find miracles and magic and synchronicity showing up in our lives time and time and time again. So, if you want to find out more about this and more about me, go to kendfoster.com. Also, I have a new book coming out. It's called The Courage to Change Everything. It's daily strategies and wisdom to awaken your hidden genius and transform your life. I hope you'll check that book out. I hope you'll continue to listen. And please, let your friends know about our show. It's an amazing show. Don't you feel up? Don't you feel inspired? Aren't you ready to take your life to the next level? Well, that's what this show does for everybody. So, pass it on. Have a blessed week. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for joining us for Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster. Learn more about Ken, how to be a guest on the show, and sponsorship opportunities by visiting voicesofcourage.us. And we're always interested in what you have to say. So follow Ken on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or email your questions and comments to viewer@voicesofcourage.us. Also, you can find all of Ken's previous shows by visiting voicesofcourage.us. Be sure to join us next Sunday at 10 a.m. as Ken brings more stories of courage that will inspire greatness within you and change your life for the better. Until next time, live courageously and see the unseeable, know the unknowable, and do the impossible. This has been Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster.